to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. I do have to shake my head that there's been a lot of celebration of $1 trillion deficit. So I want to say I am not celebrating that we are at $1 trillion deficit, which is one of the highest deficits we've ever had. So only in Washington. But I wanted to first ask you, as we talk about the issue of inflation and it's the multitude of impacts it has, we talk about the fact that the Fed is now, in an effort to combat inflation, begun raising interest rates and expectations they will continue to do so. So the CBO projects that net interest payments on the debt will be 8.1 trillion over 10 years. And that would be 1.9 trillion higher than previously, or due to the increase in inflation that's projected. So that, in my mind, is money that's essentially wasted because we have to pay because the rate inflation increases. I'm also wondering, as we talk about inflation, and certainly our priority as representatives is the price that our citizens are incurring when they go to the pump, when they go to the grocery store, et cetera. But what is the delta, if you have one, on the increased cost on running our government and the cost that the government has on buying everything now due to this inflation that if inflation was at its previous level several years ago, we wouldn't have had to endure?
No, it's an important one, and the U.S. government buys a wide range of goods and services. It pays salaries, it buys jet fuel, buys everything, and so that has an important impact on spending. There is a revenue impact as well, since the tax code is based on nominal wages, and then net interest payments go up. So the inflation has an important impact on the government. We haven't, we haven't looked at just that in isolation. We've looked at the net of all these things.
Yeah. Just back on the certainly related to the two things of inflation and the interest rate increases. Given the most recent economic data, what do you feel the likelihood of a recession is later this year or next year?
Okay, so we don't have a recession in our projection. That today the challenge in some senses that demand is too strong relative to supply, right? It's both supply and demand, but we have very strong demand. Now, of course, as the Fed tightens, we've seen the impact already in financial markets, and wealth is down. And of course, there's always the possibility of a recession. We don't have that in our projection, but we try to be in the middle of the range of possibilities. And so certainly at one side is the possibility.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back, and